Hello, Internet, and welcome once again. It's Thursday, time for the free-to-play cast. This is episode 133, brought to you by MMOBomb.com, your home for all things free-to-play related. I'm your host, Mike Byrne, a.k.a. Magic Man. We're going to talk free-to-play games, we're going to talk controversies, and we're going to talk stunning frickin' sequels. Some of these, I don't even know why these... Whatever, we'll get to it, but before we get to the news, let's welcome the co-host this week, Mr. Jason Winter.
What you gonna do, brother, when Sequel Mania takes hold on you?
Yeah. Some of them are pretty surprising. Some of them have been in the works for decades, and some of them are... yeah. Also joining us, just like he did last week, except this time he knows shit about the games we're talking about, Celsius.
What up, though? What is going on? Mike, Jason, how are we today, gentlemen?
This is why we bring him on, so he makes us look better.
There were lots of people in the comments excited to see you back, sir. Just like when Brim came back a few weeks ago. Now they're asking, of course, where Domina is. We're working on it. We're working on it. Yes, you'll see them all soon. We'll leave it at that. Yeah, so we've got a lot to talk about, and we've got a full-blown review just like we did with Skyforge last week, so let's get started. Here comes the news. Alright, so closed beta big news this week was Triad Wars by United Front Games. We posted our first look immediately as the NDA fell. We give you the lowdown there to see if you want to check it out or not. Keep in mind, of course, all of our thoughts right now are based solely on closed beta. So, of course, we'll put the usual disclaimer up there that everything could change. Everything's not going to change, but a lot of stuff could change between closed beta and when the damn game actually gets released.
Developed like it's early access.
Right. Developed by United Front Games, published by Square Enix. All three of us have played it, so here we go. Let's start. Let's talk first about concept, because this is not Sleeping Dogs 2, and United Front Games really wants to be clear that this is not the sequel to Sleeping Dogs, because there's a lot of people that want a sequel to Sleeping Dogs. So, big disclaimer, this ain't it. This is in the same universe as Sleeping Dogs, but totally different game. From a concept standpoint, Jason, you and I talked months ago when we just had a little bit of news on this one that we weren't quite sure if this was the way they should be going. They probably should have just gone with Sleeping Dogs 2 and gone and done it. Now that you've got your hands on the game, what do you think concept-wise?
Well, I never played Sleeping Dogs, but I have the general notion, it's single player, you play the co-op going around in the Hong Kong underworld, so on and so forth. And I guess if they wanted to do an online game, although we'll sort of get to how online and multiplayer it is later, if they want to do that sort of thing, they probably are better off doing something like this as opposed to just a straight-up sequel to Sleeping Dogs. I mean, they could, of course, the comparisons, a lot of it's going to be made to like Grand Theft Auto and what they did with, say, Grand Theft Auto 5 adding the online element to it.
APB is another one.
Yeah, but even that's almost sort of been tacked on a bit, and they've been taking forever to get updates out, so... I get why they would have gone this direction if they wanted an online multiplayer and free-to-play kind of game. You can't really do free-to-play with a single-player game, so I don't have a problem with the concept. Yeah, if you really were a Sleeping Dogs fan and you wanted the sequel, but this is just something else for them to try.
What about you, Celsius?
Yeah, there's a reason they can't call it a sequel. It's because it's Sleeping Dogs. I literally went back and played it on the console. The map is the same. I want a Sleeping Dogs too. When I first saw when it was available on MMO Bomb, I looked at it and I seen Square Enix was producing. I was like, Even before I loaded it or anything, I was like, man, does this look like Sleeping Dogs? Fired it up and here it is.
So conceptual on that front, you would have rather just seen development on a Sleeping Dogs 2 sequel or a Sleeping Dogs sequel.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's where their time would have been best served.
I kind of dig the concept, and I like their foray into the free-to-play online space here. And again, yeah, Jason, you're right. We do have to talk about how online the game actually is. But I don't have a problem with it. The game isn't a huge draw for me, and I read a first impressions on MMORPG, and just out of respect for our cohorts, that do the same stuff that we do for various sites. I do want to pull up real quickly the author's name and give credit where it's due, because the way they described it was exactly after I'd played it, posted the first look and everything. This phrase, it was perfect for me as far as describing it, and I wish I would have said it, but it wasn't me. Where the hell is this article? I want to give proper credit. That's why. It's just the right thing to do. Wait, I'll find it. Anyway, so here it is. Susie Ford posted it. It is Bill.
Susie's
Bill,
not the writer.
right?
Yeah.
Susie's not the writer. Bill Murphy is the writer. Bill Murphy posted it and said, "This is a great game to hop into for 20, 30 minutes at a time. You know, you just want to play something quick before you got to go to work. Yeah, this will do it. Conceptually, I'm okay with that. I don't know how much time I would spend in it, though. Gameplay-wise, for me, at least, it was kind of like they kept everything from Sleeping Dogs. In some cases, stuff from Sleeping Dogs that wasn't good. And they kept it and put it in there. The running animations, the walking, it still feels floaty, like it at least to me, like it did in Sleeping Dogs. The combat, while fun, can get a little aggravating when you're sure that you have done everything you need to do and countered everything. I didn't counter much in the first look video. Again, it was, you know, the first hour and two of gameplay, so I wasn't doing much countering. Yeah, but I don't know. Gameplay-wise, I had fun playing it, but again, I come back to there's stuff in here that I don't like. The floaty motion is a big one for me. It feels odd trying to control your character. I wish there was integrated gamepad support right off the bat. Right off the bat, that's one of the first things I thought was I want to be playing with this with a controller. And yeah, I don't know. Gameplay-wise, I'm just kind of mediocre on this one, although leaning a little towards the negative side. Am I off base, Celsius?
No, sir. You hit the nail right on the head. Floaty is exactly the description you can use, whether it be driving, walking. And what's funny is you're talking about the gamepad. Truthfully, I don't want to try that game with a gamepad. It doesn't seem like it's going to work because of how floaty it is.
I found myself carjacking minivans because they controlled the best. You were able to drive. Not only did I have that whole American thing of I got to get used to driving on the other side of the road, right, because we're in Hong Kong, but just as far as control-wise, like the first favor card you get is a vehicle, and I even said during the first look, it just kind of came out. I drove 2 blocks in the first look, and I said, man, this vehicle controls like ass. It's just terrible. So I was carjacking minivans just because they had some more stability across the front. I don't know. Jason, you kind of agree with the floaty aspect?
Yeah, definitely. I tried playing around with my settings, with my mouse sensitivity, aim sensitivity, whatever that. I looked in there. I tried messing. I tried to go into the left, go into the right, seeing if it would change it to something resembling, you know, a different game, and it just never did.
Graphically, it looks good. I think it looks good. Now, I kind of thought in the first look that the open world did feel alive. You know, you are able to walk into certain storefronts, obviously not all of them, which is what we would all love, right? Being able to walk into every building that's there. You are able to walk into storefronts and do certain things there. You're able to just explore and do side stuff and carjack and run people over and escape from police, all those things you would expect from APB or Grand Theft Auto Online, and it's there in Triad Wars. I thought the world felt alive, but I didn't even really realize while I was playing to record for the first look, because I'm focused on getting video of certain things to talk about it during the first look. I saw it in the YouTube comments on the first look, and I kind of agree that although I got the impression that the world felt alive, if you take more time to look at the actual environments, the buildings and everything, there's a lot of repetition. You're looking at the same things over and over and over again, Celsius.
No, they hit it well.
Yeah, it is hidden well.
It's very gorgeous. There is a lot to do and a lot to look at, like driving around. The streets are packed. The storefronts have things going on. I don't want to use cut and paste, but it's very hidden, very, like, you do have to look for it. If you're just too busy driving to your next objective or the next safe house you're going to, you're not going to notice that.
Yeah, it wasn't Final Fantasy XIV's initial release copy-paste. Where the environment was literally just copied and
I
pasted.
feel like I've
over
been
and
down
over.
this tunnel before.
Did you guys
16 times.
Did you guys have performance issues? I had huge frame rate issues with the game, and I understand it's in closed beta, but there seemed to be something going on with the damn launcher. That if the launcher was running in the background, I was getting frame rate issues, and it wasn't game breaking, but you can definitely see it in the first look video. And the game totally didn't behave with, fraps, OBS, XSplit. It totally didn't behave with any recording software. I know a lot of that's going to go into optimization later, but the frame rate for me, even not recording, I could notice skips, and I have a pretty high-end machine to be able to do the stuff that we do. Do you guys have any performance issues in closed beta, Jason?
No, I did a little bit. Like the first time I tried to log on, it just seemed to hang for a while, and I had to like click on the launcher a couple times. So, but other than that, not while I was in game. I didn't have any sort of frame rate issues.
What about you, sir?
No, I didn't really have too many issues either. I had the occasional stutter, but I mean, it's I expect these things in where the game's at right now. If it was a fully polished game and it was doing this, then be shaking my head. But yeah, I really didn't have any issues. Maybe it's just because the software doesn't play well with fraps or whatever it may be that was going on in the background.
Right. I went through 3 different recording sessions to get that damn first look together. Finally, I had to be like, look, and I even commented on YouTube because a lot of people were commenting about frame rate, and a lot of players commented, where I am having frame rate issues too. It's closed beta, optimization, blah 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 blah. So, but you get the point, and that's what the first look video is for. What about the real-time strategy elements? What did you guys think of those? Jason, you're a big fan of those when there's always a cash item to speed up those timers. There isn't, to be clear, in this game. There isn't. What did you think of the whole real-time strategy, making money, building rackets, that type of stuff?
I mean, I thought it was okay. Just if you just want to talk about the gameplay in general, I mean, it seems like there's not a whole lot there. I mean, it's like Bill Murphy said, like I tended to agree in that it's sort of thing you'll play for a little while, but eventually you'll be like, there's not a ton here for me to do, and part of that is sort of the online-ish or lack thereof part of it. It's mostly, going out doing these same kind of missions, doing them over and over, getting the money to build up your racket, getting more money, can you do the other stuff. Now, I know there is a few other things, and they actually in the tutorial you get to do like the running and gunning kind of deal. So it's a little more adventurous than that, but I guess I would have, and it's beta, so maybe they'll still add some more, but I would have liked to see a little greater of an experience. As it is, you've only got, like 3 or 4 different rackets I think you can do, and you just build them up linearly, so it's...
How about a female character? I mean...
Yeah, well, character options in general, because I think I don't know if you had different options in each of the 3 triads, but once you select the triad, there's one of 3 guys, and you pick one of them, and that's it. I did, in like the 3 or 4 raids I did, I encountered a duplicate of myself like twice. So.
Now they are, from what I've read too, post NDA, they are going to be putting more style options in the front character creation portion for beta testing. And I covered this in the first look. A lot of that style stuff is in the cash shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can farm gold in game and buy it. So. You can still do some customization even if you don't want to spend some money on it. So the big thing, and we've kind of alluded to it a bunch of times, Celsius, is the asynchronous gameplay. Now, United Front Games keep saying this is not an MMO, this is not an MMO, this is not an MMO. And I think rightfully so. They kind of need to say that. Yes, we're all playing on the servers. Great. But we're not going to run into each other. I'm playing in my own kind of single-player universe. You're playing in your single-player universe. And yes, I can raid your safe house and you can raid mine as well as all of these other NPCs goes, but you're not going to be there to defend yourself. It's kind of like, like the Clash of Clans type deal, right?
Yeah,
where you
yeah.
build up your base and everything, and then you come online and you find out you didn't put shit in your warehouse, and now it's gone because you weren't playing the game 24 hours a day. Again, it lends itself to the whole Sleeping Dog single-player experience, so I'd like it from that aspect, but to me then, really, what the hell is the point? Go and make Sleeping Dogs 2.
I I shook my head. I was just like, in the beginning, I'm not going to lie, I thought I was rating NPCs just by the names. I was like, where's the MMO part come in? I haven't seen a single soul running around the street, even though, the whole map is alive. And then I think by maybe the third or fourth one, I noticed it was like a username. It wasn't something generic. And I was just like, okay, this is clearly someone who's playing. But,
Right.
You can't even put this even close to an MMO. Like, yeah,
And to be fair, they're not. I mean,
Right.
they're saying it's not an
That's
MMO.
why I'm glad they put that label out there. I think they want people to understand that. I'm glad that they're doing it this early in the stage, because later on, the last thing I want to hear is, oh my God, why, this is supposed to be an MMO, yet I haven't ran into anybody else. And, I just don't feel connected with the game because I don't feel like I did enough to the other person. You know what I mean? Where you got PvP, you have that whole adrenaline rush of I beat them or I've conquered them. In these raids, it's just like, all right, I got a knockoff piece of clothing, I got a couple things, and then back to what I was doing in a single world.
Jason, I think you're kind of dead on with the repetitive nature. It does...
The positive point I can make in that is that some people don't want PvP. They don't want to, they know that if maybe United Front realizes that some people don't want that and would, react poorly to getting headshotted all the time. Because I played APB, and you go through series of missions like that where you can match up against the same people every time. They always own you, and you just rage quit. So I get to some extent why you'd want to make this essentially a PvE kind of game, but to do that, you need a lot more variety and stuff to do. PvP gives you the variety because you're always facing off against an unknown. You don't know what your opponent's going to have or where they're going to be. But when it's PvE, you got to have a little more variety of stuff to do. Otherwise, like I said, after my fourth raid, I was like, okay, I'm going to go through this exact same turf, same as everyone else has looked, beat up the 4 thugs in his racket, and then move on to his temple, which is going to be laid out exactly the same as everything else. Go up to the penthouse, kill his 2 bodyguards and the enforcer. It just gets repetitive after a while. Like you said, and like Bill Murphy said, it's something that I'll play every now and then, but I just don't think it's going to be, this is what I want to do for like 3 hours a day, every day for a month,
Ironically, I thought the most variety came in attacking operations. Prior to actually doing the raid. Those were a bunch of different, lockpick this, run this person down. Those were fun for me, but they're totally optional, and you don't get many of them, at least in the initial raids. That you're talking about thugs that don't have a lot of rackets and operations going on. But to me, those offered a fair amount of variety, I thought. And United Front Games has talked about bringing some of the quest types that we saw in Sleeping Dogs into that gameplay as well.
Did either of you guys ever get to do an export mission? Did that ever come up for you?
No.
Because that's what something I saw them. They previewed about. It's basically like in the tutorial when Uncle David's driving the car and you have to shoot the cops and the gangsters coming after you. That's apparently a thing that you can do, but I don't know when you get it. But it'd be nice to have something like that to break up the cycle of raids every now and then.
All in all, I mean, it's just okay for me. It's a time killer for a little bit. It's fun while I'm in there, but I can't play it for too long because it just gets way too repetitive. And again, United Front Games, to be fair, has talked about adding different elements of gameplay throughout closed beta into launch, so maybe we'll start seeing more and more and more to do rather than just raid, the same layout for an hour and a half while you're playing. To me, I think at the end of the day, right now for me, at best, it's average. With the optimization, I would say maybe slightly below average, but since optimization is something that usually comes later in beta anyway, I'll give that a pass for the moment. For me, it's just average and maybe a half-hour time killer here and there, not something I'm going to play every day. Can't wait to play when I get home from work. What about you, Celsius?
I think they kind of figured that out with the whole real-time strategy thing with the timers. It's just one of those, I got to log into the game and collect everything that my stuff did. You log in, you click your stuff, you start to produce again, you log out. It's going to be a pick up and put down type of game. I don't see this catching much stride until hopefully further in the further betas when you were saying about them putting more in. Jason's correct. The repetitiveness is just you did it once in the first 15 minutes. Guess what you're going to be doing in an hour and 15 minutes? Same thing.
And we talk about like games like Clash of Clans, and it is almost on that same notion because that's what those games are made for. They're made for something
Small dose gaming.
Yeah, because especially because they're mobile, you play it on the bus on the way to work or whatever, and then you check in again later in the evening or whatever for a couple minutes. It's that kind of thing. That's sort of what they're going for.
Well, there you go. It's not very glowing. It's worth checking out. I would tell people to. Yeah, it's fun for what it is. I would encourage you to check it out if it seems like it's a game that interests you at all. I just don't think people are going to play it for hours and hours and hours on end. So the be-all end-all question, Celsius, would you just rather have them not done this and go and make Sleeping Dogs 2?
I like that they did this because the fact, something that I didn't think of that Jason brought up. He never played Sleeping Dogs, so if you've never touched Sleeping Dogs, or even if I want to go further back with the whole true crime, what it was originally is just I feel like this is almost like a preemptive strike for Sleeping Dogs too. It's for people. I almost feel like this is a hype game, to tell you the truth. It's just let's slap a couple things on here, throw it online, get people interested. That way, when we do come out with Sleeping Dogs 2, we have a good media rush, and we have a base of people behind us that are more interested in it now.
Jason, I'll refrain from making you answer that since you didn't play Sleeping Dogs 1.
Interesting thought, though. I like it.
Speaking of sequels, though, I totally didn't show any Sleeping Dogs or Triad Wars footage while we were doing that.
Just tell people to go play it for 15 minutes.
I had it all queued up. Just totally forgot to click on the thing.
I was sitting here picking my nose and I was off screen.
Yeah, we are professionals. All right. Speaking of sequels, I am going to show some Age of Wushu footage here. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah. We are going to finally see Cabal 2. This has been a question that we've seen Celsius and I over and over and over again since we did the free-to-play cast way back when. When is Cabal 2 coming out? When is Cabal 2 coming out? Well, in North America, Europe, it's going to be coming out this spring, and we're finally getting details about it. I can't show you the combat trailer for copyright reasons, so head on over to mmobomb.com and check that out. They'll be releasing 3 more videos showcasing different aspects of the game over the coming weeks here. Now, the combat focuses on showing you, yes, it's tab targeting, yes, it's hotbar abilities, there's combinations, there's putting things in different orders, there's a bunch of different mechanics as far as what abilities to use and when. From a combat standpoint, since that's all we have right now, what'd you think, Jason?
Well, I got a chance to play Cabal 2 at PAX South, got some hands-on with it, and yeah, it's like it shows you in the video. The combos are pretty precise. You gotta nail them at just the right time. You have a very short window to hit them. It's an interesting way to do things, and she even says in the video you can just spam buttons to get stuff, but you want to do the special thing to get maximum damage. I pretty much just spammed buttons when I was doing my demo. Occasionally figured out how to chain it into like an AOE because I was playing the warrior and just would jump up and down and just stab my sword in the ground, AOE everything. It's all right. I mean, it's something to do, I guess. If you're going to have a tab targeting game, it's not going to be action combat. You got to do something, I guess, to try and make things a little more interesting than just rotating through this back forth, back forth, back forth. So, they realized, and they said it too when I got to play the game. When I asked them, okay, what's special about this game? What makes it great? And the first thing they said was the combat. So at least they understand.
That's always what they say.
Well, sometimes they'll say, oh, it's the story, or it's the wonderful graphics, or it's the dynamic events or whatever. So for them to be, I was actually kind of surprised to have them to say just basically the combat. So recognizing what they've got and what they're kind of limited to doing because of tab targeting and the hotbars, and like you say, it's nice that they're actually trying to put effort into that and try to make that the thing about the game.
I did like, from the healer and tank perspective, when you have the ability to break a combo. You can keep the combo going to just increase damage, but you also have the ability to break it at certain points to use either like a massive healing type spell or a damage mitigation thing. So I did like that it's not just go blow through this rotation, rinse, repeat. Blow through this rotation, rinse, repeat. That you did actually have some choices as you were going along, you know, whatever's going on in the fight. I know this big ability is coming up. Let me break my combo, use this damage mitigation thing that my tank has, and then we'll start the combo over and increase damage from there. I did kind of like that aspect. What about you, Celsius?
I like the balance that they showed in the video. The fact that they've given melee classes both ranged, AoE, and melee, to the fact where it's a good balance. The quote-unquote tank class, I agree along the lines like that. You're able to break, like, you know, stuns or heals or whatever it is, because that's what I was thinking when they first introduced it and the GM showing how the combat goes. I was like, how's this going to work for healer and tank and all that? Because, you know, it looks very flashy, and I was just like, all right, that looks great. What's it going to look like when you're a healer or you're a tank? And I would have to say that I'm thoroughly impressed with what I saw in the original video that was shown.
I don't know if I go as far as thoroughly impressed. To me, they did a couple of neat things with a very familiar system, and so I'll give them that. What I am concerned about, though, while this definitely looks like, Cabal 2 looks like something I would definitely try out, because you know I'm a Care Bear and love Tab Target. I am concerned, though, that this kind of, to me at least, everything I'm seeing so far, it feels like Cabal 2 totally misses the audience from the original Cabal. I don't know if you guys get that impression, but the Cabal fan base are some rabid Cabal fan people. I mean, and this is a very big departure from that, and almost takes Cabal into a, I don't want to say generic MMO RPG space, but that's kind of the best way I can describe the way I'm thinking, and maybe that's gonna tick off some Cabal fans. Guess who else might be getting a sequel? Let me just pull up our cameras here so that you can see us. Snail Games is reportedly, not confirmed yet, but reportedly working on Age of Wushu 2. Now, it's easy for us to scoff at this because in the Western market, Age of Wushu is just not doing well. I mean, it just really isn't. And from everything that I've been able to read about Wulin from our brothers and sisters that play overseas, they get a bit of a different experience there. So if you are enjoying Age of Wulin in your area, this is probably great news for you. Here in the States, we're kind of thinking, why? Why?
We kind of think that with most of what goes on with Snail Games. So, between the O-Box and their president being a racist or whatever, you know.
So that's why we're showing you stunning Age of Wushu footage, because yes, apparently Snail Games is working on a sequel. Now, when we get confirmation, we'll of course put that a news story up there proving it. But right now, we have it from reliable sources, let's say. But those reliable sources aren't Snail Games. So we'll keep you posted on that one. God, to me, I'm just like, why?
Well, no, you know the why is because according to the article that we got this from, it says Age of Wushu generated $52.77 million of revenue in Q1 to Q3 last year, which was 79.15% of the company's total revenue. Jeez. So that's why.
There's your why. This week was also the week of gaming controversies. Yay! I'm going to show you some ArcheAge footage while we talk about it because they're one of them. H1Z1 was the big one at the beginning of the week. They were considering adding a sub fee for Battle Royale mode when they realized that everybody was playing Battle Royale mode. Ay, 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 ay. The reason everybody plays Battle Royale mode is because the actual game itself just doesn't have much to it right now. So people would play that to farm event coupons so they could use the event coupons to go into Battle Royale servers and play that. So Sony Online, I'm sorry, Daybreak Games saw this and figured, hey, we're going to give people a subscription option for $6.99 a month for unlimited Battle Royale. That way you don't even have to farm up these event coupons. In theory, I'm okay with this. this concept. And I think a lot of people that intend to just play Battle Royale all the time would be okay with this type of thing. You can farm up the coupons for free, or you could just pay a sub and do it as much as you want. I think what was more concerning, though, is that in the description of this idea, not only did they refer to the game as when it launched 2 months ago, which at the same time they keep telling us it's in very early technical alpha, don't be hypercritical, but then in their own communication they refer to it as being launched. And then, on top of that, they wanted to charge this right now. They were going to put it in just a few days after they announced it, or a few weeks after they announced it, when you have to pay to get into the alpha and then sub to play the mode that everybody wants to play, when the quality of the product just isn't there yet still. Pretty disturbing thought process here, Celsius.
It sounds like a cash grab to me. I'm glad I'm not part of the player base. I would be on the forums pounding them right now. You've already hit me to get in. Now you want to sub me. Now I go along with you, Mike. I agree with the whole. If that's the only thing you're gonna do, $6.99, I can deal with that.
After the game launches and is fully polished, and the bugs and everything that are in Battle Royale. Yeah,
exactly. But the fact that you want me to pay to beta and then you want me to sub to pretty much beta, even though you quote unquote launched. There's just not enough to do, and then the fact that that's the player base speaking without saying a word. It's you have nothing for me to do, so I'm just going to go Battle Royale until something else comes on, or you add something else to the game. It's just I think it's unfair to some of the players.
Now, really, the next day, Smedley came out and said, "We've heard the players. We're not going to do this. So we're not going to do it yet." So I would imagine that this is still a thought post-official launch. But for now, they said, we've heard the players, the quality just isn't there, we're not going to implement this. But to me, though, Jason, the damage is already done at that point. You've played your hand on how you're thinking about moving forward with this game and maybe other games. Am I off base?
No, and you're going to need to probably edit this post production, but they need to slow the fuck down on their marketing of H1Z1 because they are treating it like totally like a launched game. They had an award show. They've got all their different promotions and so on. They're doing like this. They had a Battle Royale weekend a couple weekends ago. They promoted through the streamers and everything. Guys, if you're in early access and you really mean you just want people to test it and to get a feel for it and help you make it, stop trying to sell it so hard. Knock it off.
I am not editing that.
Okay,
it needed to be said.
Because I'll just use the.
I said it nicely in print in the article,
yeah,
but what you just said is exactly what I wanted to say. And
I'll compare it to something like DayZ, which is, of course, their closest competitor in this kind of field. Dean Hall, from day one was saying how it's an alpha, don't expect anything, etc., etc. They haven't done a whole lot of promotion on that, and when DayZ was actually discounted, like over the Steam holiday sale, it was like 10% off. Dean Hall even chimed in and said, "What the hell? Why is it discounted? It's still an alpha." So he was actually like anti-promoting, anti-sales, as opposed to H1Z1. They probably would have been like, "Yeah, 10% off this weekend. Yeah, give it a try." But we're still an alpha. Don't criticize us, please.
ArcheAge also managed to piss off its player base this week, although that kind of happens every other week, usually.
Is it a week with 7 days in it?
Right. They totally missed the boat on a return to ArcheAge promotion that they were running. We've all seen these types of promotions, and generally there's not really a problem with them. I'm a lapsed player, and they send me an email that gives me some type of gift pack to come back and play. And, it's nice to look at the goodies. But usually it's stuff like, experience potions and scrolls and, whatever. It's $25 value from the store. But what ended up happening in these is that they underestimated the value that their current paying players put on certain things, namely the new secret packs that are available in the cash shop and the dolphin mount that people have been spending hundreds of dollars on to try and randomly get in these different packs. And so welcome back players. Some of them were being given prizes like that, which totally pissed off people still paying for the game. And they basically just said, hey, sorry, we missed the boat. We should have gone through some channels, but we wanted to get this promotion out there. We didn't think that these were unreasonable items to put in there. We've heard you loud and clear. And again, they went back and fixed it too. But Celsius, that would I can understand where the anger comes from on this one.
Yeah, if I was spending my hard-earned dollars on something to get randomly, and then you try and pull a player base back, that I mean, obviously they left your game for a reason. Why would you give them something like, I understand they wanted
and it wasn't given to everybody, to be clear, because they were getting random lock boxes in these gift packs and then getting it through there.
Right. It's just I do appreciate the fact that they came back out and wrote a statement, you know, pretty much apologizing and clearly stating they missed the mark on this. You know, that's like me disappearing off of Age of Wushu, and I get an email stating, you know, come on back, and I'm going to give you all this stuff that would take someone normally either $300 cash or 6 months trying to get it. I can see why people were upset about that.
To make things a little in my book, one of the things they did to fix this was they just gave that dolphin mount to patron players that met certain criteria based on when they were subbed and things like that. And so now what everybody had spent a ton of money on because it was super rare and they wanted to have it
is now worthless.
It's not super rare anymore. Ay, ay, ay.
My favorite part, though, was in the statement they gave. They said, you know, instead of moving through the right approval paths,
yes,
folks involved in this promotion drew assumptions about what would and wouldn't be acceptable to include. Somebody got thrown under the bus.
Yep, big time.
You're that guy in promotions who approved this without talking to your superiors or whatever. Yeah. You're getting a nice talking to.
It's been a rough week for you. Let's go over and do the weekly bombs. Alright, I'm going to go first since you guys have dub bombs and I have an A bomb. I'm going to give an A bomb to Warframe. Not because it's a bad game. They put in the new update, the Chroma update, and good. The patch is good. Good raid stuff. A little challenging there. However, they also nerfed stealth. And I didn't see that in the initial patch notes, so I didn't know it was coming. And secret nerfs are bad. That's an A bomb for you, Warframe. Don't do that. Don't do that. Go ahead, Jason.
I'm going to give a dub bomb to World of Tanks for their daily logins, mostly, because I've been playing it now almost every day for like 2 weeks, and I hate myself for it because there's just that free loot they hand out when you log in. I don't have to do anything, and then I wind up playing for an hour. But they also added something else called missions. I don't know when they did it. It wasn't like the last time I logged in, which was probably up to a year ago, I think. And that's a nice little additional thing to earn you some more cash. You can accomplish various goals throughout the game to get extra, whatever it is, credits or whatever. So that's also helped me pile up my bank account. I got almost 2 million credits now. I feel rich, but probably not to the guys who pay like 5 million or whatever for a heavy tank. But it makes me feel good at least. It's a nice way to get people back into it and get them building up a little more because the early grind can be pretty disheartening.
Mr. Celsius.
I know this subject is taboo, but I'm sort of reaching out to the devs. I want to give a dub bomb for devs such as Edge of Reality, Digital Extreme, Zombie Studios, and Wargaming for partnering up to bring the free-to-play that we enjoy on PCs to the masses on all major consoles. You know, games such as Blacklight Retribution, Loadout, and I know the game you just got done speaking of, Jason, will be coming to Xbox One shortly, from what I hear. So I'm interested to see if that's going to be cross-platform, if we're going to be able to play with the PC and PC folks and such. But yeah, I want to give a shout out to the devs. I appreciate the fact that they're trying to make it available to everybody.
Yep, free-to-play gaming on the Xbox One. Xbox Gold membership required. From the viewers, Grobin42 says, I was actually baffled with the Skyforge's excuse of beta to lock 90% of the content comment, when that's a pretty normal thing to do when it comes to an actual beta. Guess that means an A-bomb to companies that have ruined the correct use of the terms, reducing beta to nothing more than an excuse to get behind when they launch games full of problems. Also, a dub bomb to the free-to-play cast, because I never thought getting my comment read would feel that good. It's great to see Magic Man's crew coming back, by the way. There we
What can I
go.
say? What
Thank
can I
you.
say?
I'm just part of your crew. Is that it?
You're part of my crew now, Jason.
Yo.
That's the way we roll. Grabbin42, you're very welcome. Thank you for always putting comments up there. Go ahead, Celsius.
Greg Olay states that beta testing just isn't what it used to be. Preach, brother. The developers gave the testers parameters to test. Now the developers are trying to make money during beta testing. The cost of that is people doing early reviews without understanding what the intended parameters are from the developers. And honestly, why would anyone care since people have to pay to test the game? Beta testing has really become a question to testers to see if they want to play the game at release. It's unfortunate, but that is the bed that the gaming developers made. It's an interesting point.
Pretty dead on, and an opinion we've expressed here multiple times.
Yes.
Feedback last week from a viewer here on one of the things we kind of busted on Skyforge for. Go ahead, Jason.
It's from The House Always Wins. It says, the voiceovers from Skyforge were merely placeholders for the beta. Dev said they'll be replaced when open beta begins. So, yay.
Thank God.
I have
Thank
played
God.
games where that's not the case, so that's why I think we
Yep.
both believe that was not how it was.
UDK Facey says the biggest effing A-bomb you can drop that blows up entire city blocks. Triad Worlds done messed it up again in ArcheAge. We already talked about why. They recently sent out packs of items from RNG boxes worth over $100 to people who unsubbed and left the game months ago, leaving current people still playing the game high and dry that are paying customers. Well, they did rectify that, but yeah, probably not in the way most people would have wanted.
I don't see that rectifying. It's more damage control.
It's rectumfied.
There you go.
Because they made an ass of themselves.
Womp womp.
Oops.
Question of the week last week. If you were excited for Skyforge, now that you've either played it or had access to the footage on the game, are you still excited? Why or why not? If you weren't excited at all, has anything changed?
We should split this one up to like all three of us.
Yes, there's multiple points here. So I'll start it. Regulus Strider says, for the question of the week, I was pretty meh about Skyforge, and after seeing it in action, I'm about the same. Granted, I like the fact that it's more instance-based, since I don't like theme park MMOs, really. This is coming from observation, not having played the game myself. It's really two things that get me. So what's the first one, Celsius?
The combat. My gaming roots come from a lot of action console games, so I lean towards more action-oriented MMOs, Terra, Dragon's Nest, and sometimes Elsword, to name three. And I'm really not a fan of the tab target combat systems, so when a game comes along that is more of cross between the two, it intends to rub me the wrong way. This because when playing it, I will think, if this had blank like Terra, this would be more fun, and other thoughts on the same line. From observing Skyforge being played, it looked to me like a cross between action cursor and tab targeting style, leaning towards more of a tab targeting. I'll still try it out, but I have lower expectations in regards to the combat.
Regulus Strider, you're dead on with your assessment of combat. You're pretty much dead on there. What was Regulus' second point, Jason?
I find the Sphere Atlas, or Ascension Grid, Ascension Atlas, whatever you want to call it, and the lack of levels sort of pointless. The thing about the Ascension Atlas is if you described what it does, it allows the player after meeting certain requirements such as completing quests, dungeons, and raids to gain higher stats and learn new skills, unquote. Then a normal level-up system, it, quote, allows the player after meeting certain requirements such as completing quests, dungeons, and raids to gain higher stats and learn new skills, unquote. It just seemed like they were going about getting stronger the same way, but with more resources required to progress, the sparks. This feeling to me is heightened since there is no obvious limit to what you can learn on the grid, learning everything counts as max level. Lastly, the branching paths aren't very widespread to me. From what I saw, there was one slight detour and then two paths that eventually meet back up again. Now, while the stat ups on the Atlas themselves seem more like runes in League of Legends, they still function the same as levels as far as I can tell. I could be horribly mistaken, I would rather frankly something. Sorry for my second long post. Thank you for your time. Go Bombcast, mounted.
And your analysis of the Ascension Grid is also dead on.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. A. Gill says, and thank you Regulus, for that extensive feedback. See, it doesn't matter. If you want to write 7 paragraphs, we'll read them.
We can just go the entire show.
Right. We'll just have a viewer special, where we do nothing but read your comments and questions and answer them and go through. A. Gill says, I'm less excited now that I've played Skyforge in beta. I was expecting Terra combat, but it's no way near Terra. For melee classes, you sometimes stop mid-combo if the enemy moves away. Yes, you do. That is due to tab targeting, and it's very apparent that action tweaks were added afterwards. It's very close to Guild Wars 2 combat. I'll still play it, but it's just filling the gap until Black Desert or some other true action MMORPG. Mr. Winter.
ABC says, I will probably check out Skyforge because I heard it will be free to play, but I don't have much hopes that someone said the combat is like Guild Wars 2 and there is no Holy Trinity. It's a little more Trinity-ish than Guild Wars 2, certainly. And I guess I don't really feel like the combat is that. I feel like the combat's a little more freeform and action combat-y than Guild Wars 2 is. But
yeah, the Trinity thing, there's no dedicated healer. It's not like Guild Wars 2 where there's no Trinity. There are aspects of tank, support, and damage in Skyforge. There's just no dedicated healer. Celsius, wrap it up with the viewer replies.
Ultima something has written in and says, I am still excited for Skyforge. Haha, can't wait to play.
There you go. Our question.
Wants to be a god.
Question. Hey, don't we all? Don't we all? Question of the week for this week. If you, the viewers, had the choice, would you rather have seen United Front Games develop a sequel to Sleeping Dogs, or does Triad Wars interest you enough to continue waiting on a Sleeping Dogs sequel? Let us know what you think in the comments below on mmobomb.com or on YouTube. Come on over to the site, check out all the great giveaways we've got going on, and make sure to leave your weekly bomb, da bomb for something good, a bomb for something bad in the world of gaming, or just a question you have for the panel in the comments below. We'll read them on next week's show. Celsius, where can everybody follow you at, sir?
They can find me over on the Twitters at TheRealCelsius, and I would like to give a shout-out to all my new followers. After the last episode, I know it's a small blip on the radar, but I went from like 20 followers to over 100 followers, so I want to thank everybody, and stay tuned, hit me up, let me know what you're playing, and hopefully we can hook up.
Mr. Wait, you want to hook up with the viewers?
Well, you know.
Sexy words.
Mr. Winter, where can they find you?
Find me on the Twitter at WinterInformal. Like, if you could like quintuple my followers the same way, that'd be great.
Jason does not want to hook up with you, though.
No. Yeah, that's Twitter. Stream twitch.tv/JasonWinter. My blog is jasonwinter.wordpress.com.
It's been a good week, gang. Thank you for enjoying the free-to-play cast. We hope to see you next week. Come on over to mmobomb.com. Check out all the great articles, videos, first-look videos, and giveaways we've got there. I'm Mike Byrne, a.k.a. Magicman. You can follow me on Twitter at Magicman1, MAGICKMANN1. And until next time, gang, stay safe, and we'll see you out on the servers.